Hi, welcome to this video. So the Sun in Aries opposes Jupiter in Libra on April 7th. With this combination, there may be a tendency towards being overconfident and self-righteous, but you will have extra vitality and energy to get things done. There may also be an over tendency to overdo things, which I've definitely been experiencing lately, is just like taking on a lot more than normal and just like being constantly on the go. Now, this is, fine as long as you have the energy to do that, but it does, it is kind of a cautionary thing not to overdo it to where you hurt yourself or, overstrain yourself in some way. But ultimately, this is a more positive opposition because you've got the Sun, which is a star, and then Jupiter, which is an almost star, and they're opposing. But this could also bring open enemies to light, and it could cause some amount of conflict or drama, especially if one person is exaggerating an issue or something. That could be a possibility at this time as well. But overall, this is a great time for taking care of things that you've been wanting to get done and having more confidence in yourself. And, those are both good things. And then Venus, which is retrograde in Pisces, is basically conjunct Chiron in Pisces within 1 degree, and squares Saturn and Sagittarius exactly on April 8th. So Saturn is now retrograde as well. So with this combination, this is an extremely karmic time for relationships, and a lot of old wounds around past relationships could be coming up for you, old patterns being released, and there could be extra responsibility happening in your relationship that could just be putting extra pressure on some of the old wounds that have come up or old patterns being released. So this is kind of an intense time for relationships because of that, but it's also a great time for reflection and growth and really looking within yourself more about where the relationship is and really releasing a lot of that karma and negative energies so that when it does move forward, there's a clarity to the relationship that wasn't there before. There could even be some revealing of things, revealing of deeper emotions or old emotional wounds that are personal to you that you maybe haven't revealed before, and just a lot of healing going on. And then with, on the same day, April 8th, there's a Grand Earth Trine that includes the Moon in Virgo, Mars in Taurus, and Pluto in Capricorn. So this is an amazing time to move towards a goal that you feel strongly emotionally connected to, that can create strong transformation in your life, strong foundational transformation and structural transformation. Basically, this could be a career move or any kind of move that will maybe bring you further along your goals and your career, and also help you monetarily, likely to help you monetarily as well. And it could also be something that serves the world, because most things that we do as a career serve the world in some way. And so focusing on that service to others and taking actions on those things, especially if it's something that's very, something you believe in, something that you have strong values around, that can be something where you really move forward on a life goal, and it just brings like a deep transformation to your world. It could also reveal some deep emotional stuff that you need to confront, and just a need to transform those deeper things so that you feel like more valuable in your own self, feel a stronger sense of self-worth. And then on April 8th as well, the Sun in Aries squares Pluto in Capricorn. So this is going to bring up some intense feelings. Deeper stuff is coming up for us, generally speaking, right now, because of all these squares to Pluto happening. There's a lot of transformation occurring and a need to lighten up our undercurrents. Like, there's a delving into the unconscious mind happening and a revealing happening. And as we reveal things, or, reveal things even to ourselves, within ourselves, this is going to help lighten up the energies for our world, because there's been a lot of heavy energies this year so far. And so we're really needing to delve right into that and come out of it even stronger, so that we are more aligned with who we are and being more in alignment in our own personal strength. So we're bringing our strength forward in some way, and the best way to be strong is to be certain, and the best way to be certain is to have that clarity within yourself. So right now is a time of going into the places that are less clear, so that we can transform those things and become aware of the things that are keeping us from being clear, and then move forward in a new way that is true to who we are. And then Mercury goes retrograde at 4 degrees 51 minutes of Taurus on April 9th. I was just laughing because I decided to put the whole degrees in there. But Mercury going retrograde, of course, this can cause miscommunication, but it's also even more about going within yourself. And this could be a time of reflecting on your self-worth and how you are feeling about yourself and the thoughts that you have on a daily basis about yourself. And it's definitely a time of clearing mental patterns around self-worth. And if you have negative self-talk, this could be a time for becoming aware of that, so that you can try to end that habit. It's also a time to reflect on money and your resources and your values, and really asking yourself if you're being true to the values that you hold, and looking at the mental patterns that might be surrounding those things, the mental patterns around money and resources even, and clearing away negative patterns that are related to those things. So, obviously money is a really sticky subject, because there's a lot of torment that has been created because of money, and also there's a lot of different viewpoints around money. So looking at those different viewpoints and kind of being more objective in a way, or looking at things differently, maybe looking at how money can be beneficial, but also how it can be a negative influence, and really just getting more clarity around what your views on money are, and kind of clearing away the stickiness and confusion, even though there may be some confusion, especially in regards to having conversations with other people about that. It could cause a lot of confusion there. So the best thing to do is actually get clarity within yourself before having any kinds of conversations outside of yourself about money, if there are sort of things coming up for you around that. And then there is a full moon in Libra on April 10th. So this full moon is going to be interacting with dang near every planet out there. No, it's going to be interacting with a lot of planets. So just be warned, I'm going to be going off about a lot of aspects right now. Okay, so it's conjunct Jupiter within 4 degrees, opposite Uranus within 3 degrees, square Pluto within 2 degrees, and sextile Saturn within 6 degrees, as well as inconjunct Mars within 1 degree, and Venus and Chiron in Pisces. It's also in conjunct those within 6 degrees, which creates a yod. So that's just the moon aspect there. And then the sun in Aries on the opposite end is conjunct Uranus, opposing Jupiter, squaring Pluto, trining Saturn, semi-sextile Mars in Taurus, and semi-sextile Venus and Chiron in Pisces. And the full moon is exact at 11:08 p.m. Pacific time on April 10th. So, yeah, that was a lot of stuff there. Okay, so the full moon being conjunct Jupiter, this makes it like a really exaggerative full moon. Like that full moons as they are extremely intensifying. Conjunct Jupiter, this is going to be making it like over the top, kind of exaggerative in some way. And then it's opposite Uranus, and then Uranus is about unexpected occurrences and just eccentricity and insights, sudden insights that shake up your world, all kinds of craziness going on there. And then sextile Saturn, this brings like our responsibilities on board with things, and creating the yod with Mars and Taurus and the Venus and Chiron. Okay, so with yods, the 2 planets that are sextile, being Mars and Taurus and then Venus and Chiron in Pisces, are like, they have a cohesive energy sort of, and then they're aiming towards the inconjunct. So usually with inconjunctions, it's kind of a blind spot or kind of a place where you just need to kind of adjust a little bit, or it can be sort of just missing each other kind of feel going on. But with a yod, it aims at energy there because it's the energy that is needed to fulfill the purposes of the 2 sextiles. So it's a very strong kind of influence towards the full moon at this time. So Mars in Taurus, sextile Venus and Chiron in Pisces, their purpose is very much around healing old wounds and your self-worth, especially within your relationships. And then the moon in Libra is also about relationships. So this is going to bring an exaggerated focus on our relationships, and there's going to be a lot of healing and a lot of focus around your self-worth within that relationship. With it opposite the sun in Aries, and the sun in Aries, of course, is very much about the self and who you are. Conjunct Uranus. Uranus is also about who you are, but it's a higher level of who you are. It's more your higher self in the situation, but it's also what your individual role is within a collective setting, like within a community of sorts, or that kind of thing. And it's very insightful and brings you the information needed to fulfill your purposes. So this is going to be bringing a lot of interesting insights to you, and insights around your relationship even. And there may be a need for some kind of restructuring or sort of a rewiring of how the relationship is run, with Venus being retrograde. And then with its sextile Saturn in Sagittarius, and then the sun also is trine Saturn. Saturn in Sagittarius is retrograde, and so what your responsibilities are and what you are aiming towards and all of that stuff is being restructured as well. So there's a lot of interesting, like with all these retrogrades going on, and with this full moon being conjunct Jupiter and all that, Jupiter's also retrograde. This is just really intense time for like reflecting on things and restructuring things, and it might even have to do with responsibilities or restructuring of responsibilities, and just kind of a whole reweaving of sorts. There's all kinds of like energies like just kind of being looked at in a different way. And so different ways of looking at things are very subject to change at this time. Or the way you look at things is subject to change. Your perspective on things is very subject to change at this time. And then the next day, the moon in Libra sextiles Saturn and Sagittarius, and they both inconjunct Mars and Taurus, creating a yod. So with the moon in Libra sextiling Saturn, this is actually going to be bringing up that sort of similar thing with responsibilities in your relationships, and even responsibilities around like what it is you believe in, like practicing what you preach could come up for you. And there's a need to take in other people's perspectives within that. And then with it in conjunct Mars and Taurus, this is a time to take action on something you believe in, your ideals, and something you feel emotionally connected to for maybe even social purposes, because Libra has to do with society and the social issues that happen, like justice and injustice, and there may be this may be a time for taking action around those things, and around the things you are valuing. And so pretty crazy stuff going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll talk to you very soon. Have an awesome time.